I'm not even burning my sage, but I needed to come live with another episode of Straight Like That. I cannot believe we're on episode 6. Oh my God. For those of you that's going to watch this back, I just want to thank you for watching. And I want to give my apologies for taking a hiatus. Like, I know that I, haven't been as consistent lately as I would like to be, and as I, hey Charles, and just as consistent as I usually am. And that is what brings us also into the topic at hand that I wanted to discuss today, which is mental health in the Black community and with us, because these types of things we are just now starting to discuss, but we usually don't. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's like a silent killer for a lot of people. The main mental health issues that we deal with is depression and anxiety. So I have an exact definition of what both are. I got the depression definition from psychiatry.org, and I also got some symptoms, causes, so on and so forth. So depression is a medical illness that negatively affects how you feel, think, and act. Some examples of depression are not limited to, but they do include sadness, a loss of interest in activities you once enjoyed. It could affect your ability to function at work or home. Changes in appetite, like your weight could fluctuate. Your energy changes, like sometimes you will be extremely fatigued, like you have difficulty sleeping, your sleeping patterns be out of whack. You're either sleep all day or you can't sleep at all. You have difficulty concentrating on even the simplest tasks, making decisions. You could also feel worthless and guilty, and sometimes people even contemplate death and suicide. I know it sounds like a cliche to say when people be like, oh, I'm depressed. It's just kind of like, oh, well, pray about it, go to church, you'll be fine, you're being dramatic. These are some of the things that I've been told when I've suffered from depression. I've been in and out of that. Like, I don't stay in it too long because now I'm more aware of what it is that I'm feeling, or when I could spiral, or when things are not going right in my life. And I'm in therapy. Like, I had a therapy session today that got rescheduled, and I was like, this is the perfect opportunity. I've been wanting to talk about this for a while, but of course the stigma behind even coming out and admitting that you're sometimes not okay, people don't, in our community in particular, because we don't normally seek help for depression and anxiety. Depressed, I wouldn't call it that. Voluptuous and anime. Y'all are funny. You see, this is not even a joking matter. We could try to make light of the situation, but in all honesty, people really do legit suffer from these things. Okay. So, according to psychiatry.org, in Black communities, we are more prone to suffer from depression because of these factors. Environmental factors. Where do the majority of us live? We live in impoverished neighborhoods. A lot of us do live below the poverty line. A lot of us live in environments where the air isn't clean. The food that we have available to us is just a bunch of fucking junk food. It's Popeye's chicken on every goddamn corner. The liquor store on every goddamn corner. Chinese restaurant with MSG and all of these other foods every fucking way you look. That also affects your biochemistry and the chemicals and hormonal imbalances that occurs in your body. It has a lot to do with what you eat and what you breathe in. And of course your personality traits, do you have low self-esteem? Are you easily stressed? Violence, exposure to violence, abuse, exposure to, just being neglected. And our communities are plagued with these things because, of course, America in a lot of instances has been set up to be that way, to keep us on the bottom, to keep us not functioning and vibrating as high as we possibly could, because Black people are superheroes. We have superpowers. with all that we experience, all of the trauma that a lot of us go through, we are still thriving. We still come through and we take over shit. Like, they got diseases and all types of ailments that they put on us, and we still having 5 kids. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, the bad food, the STDs, the chemical warfare, everything, and bitches is still pumping out 10 kids. Like, come on. Hispanics too. Maria got about 7 kids too, and she eating Burger King every day. Like, let's just call a spade a spade. But these are silent killers, because a lot of us, when it comes to depression and anxiety, I'm going to get to the definition of anxiety as well. I've had experiences with that, but that's not really, I don't worry. I'm not a worry wart, so I'm not plagued by anxiety as much as I've like had bouts of depression. No one believes you. They just think you're lazy. They think you have no ambition. They think that you are just making excuses. And it's really sad, because lots of times when we do experience that and we're written off as, bitch, you crazy, you just need attention, you just this and that and the third, we tend to self-medicate. And self-medicating is drinking, drugging, being overly promiscuous. If you notice, a lot of us, we have a lot of pent-up anger, and especially when it gets warm outside, we're fighting each other, we're super violent towards each other, we're constantly in these toxic cycles of, as far as relationship goes, with your family, your friends, your loved ones, your intimate partners, and we just function in toxicity, and that's not normal. It's not normal. The underlying problems is people are not mentally okay. People are not emotionally okay, and it's nothing wrong with that. And we really need to destigmatize this, because if people were able to be more open and honest about how they felt and the things that they were going through and things that they experienced, then we would be on a better and a quicker, earlier journey of healing. We need to like really heal ourselves, and people need each other. We need each other. I have issues where I seclude myself. I know it's not always the best, but I check the fuck out. And I do that because I understand that I know how people are. They don't understand. People can't compute you having like being on the verge of a fucking mental breakdown and you just need like a break. They don't understand that. It's like, well, bitch, get the fuck up. You need to do this. You need to do that. And it's like, yo, like, I'm like, sometimes you're in a mode where you can't even like think properly. You know what I mean? So for me, when I need to check out, I just do that. I don't bother anybody. I have my own place. Like, I seclude myself, and I would always go through these cycles of every now and then I would just need to just check out for a couple months. And I know that's not healthy. And now I'm in a place where I can admit that, and I'm in therapy now, and it's helping. It's helping me so much. And the fact that I'm like on this like major spiritual journey, that is also helping me because it's making me more in tune with what's now. So we're going to get into anxiety, and we'll simultaneously talk about both. So anxiety is intense, excessive, and persistent worry and fear about everyday situations. What happens when you have like anxiety? You often get like panic attacks. It's a fast heartbeat, rapid breathing, sweating, you feel tired, and once again you have trouble sleeping. So anxiety and depression affects your sleeping cycles, and when you are not getting adequate sleep, how the fuck are you supposed to function? Like, you can't get up and go to work. Like, your whole everything be thrown out of whack because of these two, like, I call them silent killers, because people who've committed suicide, they've completely off themselves. We don't usually do that. White people be like shooting themselves in the head and jumping off bridges at a higher rate than us. I was about to chuckle, but that's nothing to laugh at. I'm just funny. But we kill ourselves slowly by doing destructive things and by like constantly living in cycles of destructive behavior. Mostly all of us have someone in our family that struggle with alcoholism or drug abuse. That is how you're slowly killing yourself. So either way, it's like you're checking. You don't even care. Like, no one cares. It's like the quality of my life doesn't matter, you know. And that's how I know we're super strong. Like, if we were operating at optimal like health and like just vibrating high, we would be invincible, because through all of the adversity, through all of the fucking mental health and like trauma and everything that we experience, we still excel in a lot of areas. The causes of anxiety, they're unclear. Love, hit me up when you feel okay. Aw, thanks. You're so pretty, listen. Thank you. I know, but sometimes it's not. Shut up, Tyree, your disagreeable ass. You always want to disagree. This is not the time to disagree, Mr. Disagreeable. So the causes of anxiety is unclear, right? No one really knows like what exactly triggers it. However, it is most likely due to traumatic events. And let me say something about trauma, right? I didn't write any notes on trauma. I should have, because trauma, people think trauma has to be this huge catastrophic event. No, that trauma could be something so fucking minute as literally like, well, this isn't minute, but like being called a nigger bitch. That's traumatic. No one physically hurt you. No one physically assaulted you, but that's trauma. Being in love with someone and they just leave you and you don't even know why, that's traumatic. Losing a loved one is trauma. Being abused as a child, physically, verbally, mentally, emotionally, that's trauma. Trauma is not always packaged the way that we expect it to be, so like astronomical. Trauma is also passed down in the womb. So when we were like captured like slaves, I don't really like these terms, but they would beat black women. They would dig a hole in the dirt while she was pregnant and had her baby in the womb and lay her in the hole so that her stomach doesn't get bruised and whip her. That is sending trauma to the baby before it even comes out in the world. The things that we see on TV is extremely traumatic and it's intentional. They want to keep us in a state of trauma and confusion and feeling inferior. That's why they keep making all of these fuck movies about us getting the shit beat out of us by white people. What is the psyche of people why would you want to continuously show us that over and over and over? It's because you're perpetuating a certain type of trauma. Visual, like you can see things and you could be traumatized by it. You could hear things that could traumatize you. So I like, just please understand, a lot of us are fucking walking around completely and utterly traumatized. We just are conditioned to keep it moving because everybody tells you like it's not that serious, you're just being overly dramatic, or you're crazy. They just say you just like a drug addict or alcoholic, and people use those things to cope with what is really internally on, like, bothering them on the inside. It's not just because everybody want to party and live the high life all the time. Sometimes it's escapism. It's escapism. And I just really feel like we have to be more honest with ourselves. And it's okay. It's okay to not be okay. I hate I'm a Virgo. We all know that because I'm always saying it because, I'm a Virgo. We have this perfectionist thing where it's kind of like, you don't really want people to see you sweat. Like, you don't want anyone to, like, know that you're down. Like, I have issues, like, even, I don't ask people for shit like that. Like, I rather figure it out on my own because people judge you. Like, they judge you, they criticize you, they project how they feel about themselves onto you. And there's never really too many safe pockets, and there's not too many safe spaces for us to go to, especially when it comes to each other, because we all looking at each other like, you're crazy. Like, bitch, what the fuck? Go to church, pray. I keep saying this over and over because this is the rhetoric. Like, we don't get told, go to therapy. When you watch movies with other people, what do you see them doing? They're laying on the couch talking to the shrink about their problems. That helps. Sometimes you can't go to immediate friends and family because their opinions are biased. They're going to project onto you. They can only tell you from their own eye level. You need a non-objective opinion sometimes from someone else. Also, what I've learned being in therapy, she doesn't always give me her outright opinion. She'll help me get to my own conclusions. And sometimes that is more helpful too, because what we need is on the inside. what we need to help us, we already have the answers on the inside. We just need the tools to be able to unlock the keys that we need to open up whatever doors are shut, or whatever stagnation that we're experiencing, the procrastination. Like, I battle with all of these types of things. And the fact that I've been able to excel and I've gotten myself pretty damn far by myself, ain't nobody around here but me, I'd be like, damn, shit. Like, sometimes when I feel like shit, I'll be like, what? Oh my God. Like, gratitude has been like such a big help to me, because I have so much to be thankful for. We all do. We all have so many things to be just grateful for. Like, the fact that I could even talk to you guys, the fact that I'm sitting here looking beautiful, like I have my nails done, just like little things that is small, but there's people that can't see. There's people that can't speak. There's people that can't walk. I have an iPhone, like I have lights, I have like internet access. There is so many things to be grateful for. Like, I'm literally sitting here drinking organic cranberry juice. There's people in other countries, in this country, fuck other countries, not fuck other countries like that, in this country that's drinking dirty water, that doesn't even have access to indoor plumbing, and I just, being grateful for what you have and for what you've been able to accomplish is the creme de la creme to being able to pick yourself up, because ultimately nobody can really help you except for a trained, licensed professional and yourself. But who you surround yourself with is extremely important. I'm about to take a sip of this. That's why I picked it up. It's extremely important who you surround yourself with, because this is another thing that I always say. People are like plants. We soak up energy from each other. And when you have a light, sometimes people want to dim that, because it's like, bitch, who the fuck you think you are? Like, why you think you so much more special than me that you could go on and do these things, or that you could be confident and I'm depressed and miserable, and and we all go through that. But we all have to realize that we all have 24 hours in a day. It's okay if you go through something and you're like, what the fuck is life? It's all right. Like, be more forgiving to yourself. Pick yourself up. Look around and write down 3 things every day that you're grateful for. And look in the mirror and talk to yourself and reaffirm yourself. I do that. Like, I have vision boards and Post-its and all types. I'm the most positive person ever. I'm extremely optimistic. However, life comes at you fast sometimes, and shit happens that you have no control over. Things that you may have been traumatized by, you don't even realize how it affected you until something similar comes up again, and you're like, oh my fucking, like, how, you know what I mean? Like, because we don't get the help. We're conditioned to just keep it moving. Keep it moving, just keep it going. Like, even a well-oiled engine has to take a break sometimes. You can't just keep moving. We're not robots. We're all human. We have feelings. Accept your feelings. Be okay with not being okay sometimes. And confide in a therapist. Like, I've been an open book in a lot of situations. And in a lot of situations, I'm shut down. People have called me an ice princess. People always got some shit to say. And I'm relating this to myself directly, because what better way, to talk to people than to let them know they're not alone, because shit, you experience it too, and I'm back now, like, I'm doing way, like, I don't live. So I give myself, like, whenever I'm feeling like I'm mentally depleted or emotionally drained or whatever it is that I go through, I give myself, it's like a lease on an apartment, right? You got a couple months to live here, but bitch, you're going to get kicked out after a certain amount of time. That lease is going to expire, so you can't sit in those emotions forever. So look at it like that. Allow yourself to feel pain, hurt, anger, angst, grief, whatever it is that you're experiencing. Don't deny it. Like, you have to live through it and walk through it. I've also been very ashamed of having feelings or it's extremely hard for me to be vulnerable. Like, these are all things that I'm working through, because it's not easy. It really is not, especially when people see you as this one particular way. it's like, how dare you have an off day? How dare you have an off season? You're Ro Jones. It's like, no, bitch, I am human, okay? I bleed just like everybody else. I'm not always on. And to do things where you're like in front of public, in front of people, in front of cameras, like, that's some bold ass shit. Like, people don't realize that. It takes a lot. It seems like you could just, oh God. That's why I tell people, like, bitch, you do it. I'm tired of everybody telling me what I shoulda, woulda, coulda, woulda, coulda, houlda, houlda. You do it, or help me, take me. Go ahead. I'm very open to help now. I used to have issues with that. I did not like that before, but now I understand. You could go far by yourself, but if you're trying to go all the way, you need a team. I'm open and I am receptive, and now I appreciate like everybody that has been in my corner and people that have been supportive of me. Like I love that. I appreciate that. I trust me, I am here, I'm open, and I am receptive, and I'm about to go because y'all know I went on a little rant. But that's what this is for, because this is straight like that. So I'm giving it to y'all straight like that. And this is episode 6. I'm not going to take too long to come back with episode 7, and hopefully I'll have a guest or not. I mean, it don't matter because, you know, I got this on my own. I'm crazy. Anyways, love yourself above all else. Don't let anybody make you feel like you're in a rat race, because you are not. The only person that you are competing with is the older version of yourself, okay? Keep that in mind. You got this. Everything that you need is on the inside. You want love, love yourself. You love yourself, then you ain't going to accept nothing else from nobody else. So don't ever get that twisted. You got this. Thanks to this. Thank you so much. Thank you. So, I will see y'all again very, very soon. It will not take me that long to come with the next episode. And if you have any suggestions of things that you would like for me to talk about, or if you would like to come on and be a guest and talk to me about some things, I am open to that too. Love and peace. Bye, y'all.